I have the button and I forgot to press it. So that's a I should change. Of course I can't change location while I'm streaming on the stream deck. No, that's crashed. Okay, well, this new version of Stream Deck is crashing a lot. Okay, well, yes, I'm still everything's still good. Just Stream Deck is not happy. Let me move that back up there. Can I move? No, I can't. Never mind. Not touching that until after stream. Apparently, if I'm streaming, Stream Deck decides nothing works. On the app, the deck itself, I think, kind of works. Maybe, possibly. I'm not sure. We'll find out that when at the later end of the stream if I can even like press any of the buttons. Until then, how you doing, Sitsu? And also good morning. Uh, Aritas, hello. How you doing today? Okay, so yesterday we chatted a little bit about well, at the end of the day we chatted a little bit about logging systems and what was going on. So we figured out what was sort of like what was the attempt. Wrong keyboard layout. I do that all the time. I use a Colmax keyboard layout. It's really easy for me to accidentally switch to the wrong one, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm speaking in like somebody who's worshiping Cthulhu. So anyways, I we chat a little bit about a Discord. It makes so the idea was um a logging system that would at compile time catch as many errors as possible and then automatically print out the GitHub URLs so that you could go and whether or not it's yours or someone else's, you could then go and like do pull requests or debug on there or something else. It's not following the same sort of like debugging path that I usually take, uh, and I'm actually quite happy with the system right now. But it did make me think about login systems and how important they are. I don't think I'm necessarily going to have like a strong login system for this course, but I do want to create maybe just a logging course, maybe a micro course or a mini course, like something it would take like a day or two to get through of like, hey, how to log properly on Windows, because I actually haven't tried that before, or on Mac or Linux, where the log files should go, and then perhaps like other strategies like sending it out to a service, which is my preferred way to do it now because it means that the logs won't stay on the same computer that the system is on, which to me, those type of logs are the most important for debugging in production. Okay. B4141, hello. I'm doing good. It is consistently cold here in the mornings. So today was 25 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 5 degrees, 7 degrees below freezing, which is just fun. Uh, okay, so today we're gonna be continuing on with our full stack course. We're gonna be working on the login route. So previously we did create an account. Now we're gonna show, okay, well, what happens if we want to log in? Stacking, hello. If you have a stateless Docker container, a third-party logging system is a must. Yes, that's true. Pretty much like any kind of like when you have like microservices, if you don't have like just a monolithic application and you have services spread out everywhere, a strong centralized logging system is really important. Have I checked out Wasm Docker yet? No, I haven't. Is there a link to that? Like, is that actually just like a Docker file? Like, is there? I mean, it seemed a bunch of third-party WASM stuff. Excuse me. Let me see if I tried to. Yeah, yeah. Stream Deck is not working as expected. Oh, and I broke my lip again. So if my lip looks really red today, sorry about that. I apparently. Where's my? I need to go get a tissue really quickly. Yash, hello. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Although I just sneezed and broke my lip really quickly, so I will be right back. Okay. It's not that bad, but the other day I got my lips had gotten so dry, and then they split, and it's just been a pain trying to keep them from like re breaking at that same exact point. And of course, the sneeze doesn't help. Okay, so very exciting. You're a big fan of WASM. Think it's the future of for the container stuff. Interesting. Yeah, I do like WASM a lot, but I don't know which one is okay. Docker plus WASM beta. Is that actually like a Docker Hub one, or is that something else? Searching with Docker in your term does not get you anywhere on Docker Hub. It's from the Docker dot. Huh. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Let me I can click to show that. Okay, so docs, Docker, desktop, WASM. I should allow docs.docker.com. That seems fine. Give me a second while I'll have to log in again. Let's see. We want spam protection, links, whitelist, docs.docker.com. Okay. You should be able to repost that link and it should be fine. But I was able to see it. So it's docs.docker.com, desktop, uh, and then WASM. So, okay, let's search for. Okay. WASM is a faster, lighter alternative to the Linux and Windows containers you're using in Docker today. Really? Do not use this in production. Okay, it requires a technical preview build of Docker Desktop. The technical preview build enables the containerd image store feature. This cannot be disabled. If you're not currently using it, then pre-existing images and containers will be inaccessible. Okay, well, that's not fun. I think then what we want to do is circle back around to this after after we finish the course, because if I'm gonna have to like enable stuff that breaks Docker, I don't want to do that yet. We can break Docker all we want after the course is done. Okay, let me add in. So I want probably like just like um, Docker, and then inside this is Docker plus Axum. I am taking this link. Okay, well, this would be really cool to investigate later. You're just talking about it, but it's not ready, and Axum would need a full rewrite. Oh, to run Axum inside of here? Like Axum, the project itself, or my Axum? Probably the project itself, right? I'm really curious, like what's gonna go on, like what their plan with this is. Because if we can start running Docker stuff on the front end, that that opens up a lot of really cool things. Actually, a lot of like that opens up an entire world of possibilities, and I can't wait. Okay, login. Login's gonna be very similar. Let's go ahead and start everything up. So I want let's get you going. I haven't tried the other ones. There's alternative for Docker containers, and I keep on meaning to like look into them, but then I just don't because I'd rather just do other stuff. But I wonder like if they can pull off some like new types of Docker, they can stay ahead of the wave. Is this Angular? No. Startup Builder, hello. I would normally okay. Serious answer first. No, this is not Angular. So we are working on a backend framework called Axum. So Axum is a Rust-based server. If you're familiar with Node.js, it's very similar to Express. Basically, it allows you to write your server yourself. It doesn't come with very much. You have to pull in all sorts of other things if you want to use them. But it's also pretty easy to sort of grok and understand what's going on. We previously did a front end framework course, but it was also in Rust, and that was called U.rs. And that was actually a lot of fun. U is very it's got some similarities to Angular, but it's closer to React and Vue. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, right. In why VS Code, you are opening up so many. Okay, I don't need you open. All right, so we want a cargo run, cargo watch. Okay, that will make you happy. Let's see, what else? What else do I need? US East 1, AWS tooling. Oh, that's just sort of like reminding me which uh grouping, which server, which region I'm connected to by default, which is US East 1, which is West Virginia. Um and that's yeah, I've deployed a bunch of stuff to AWS, and that's what I do a lot. Yeah. I'll probably I was thinking like maybe I should have a different terminal for stream than I do for other stuff that I do. Um especially when like deploying things for stream. It gets a little bit interesting. It's also slightly dangerous. But okay, login. What are we doing with login? We're going to be creating a new route. So we have create user. I'm thinking for this we might want to rename create user because the response user is going to be exactly the same as create user. The response is going to be exactly the same. Login. Now, my other thought is I could. Yeah, and login also takes in a username and password. So it's exactly the same as this. So I could also like create user. If I rename this to users and I put in everything else, that's going to be login, logout would be fine too in there. Guarding a route would be actually in elsewhere. And then switching to use middleware. So I actually think we could switch this to users. I don't think that'll be a problem. So with this lesson, we'll now refactor this to users with create user and then login inside of that. Login is going to be comparing the passwords, which we're in bad mode where we're just plain text storing the password. So that's still not great, but we're doing this all in preparation for eventually hashing the password later. All right. I don't think I need anything else prep wise. So I think we're good to go and we're ready for it all. So I'm going to do a recording for a video. These are the videos that are going up onto YouTube where I'm just showing, the lesson itself. During that time, I don't usually respond to chat directly, at least. If there is something that you like have a question for, ask in chat. I'll either answer it afterwards or I'll see if I can find a way to work it in. These aren't that long though, so I don't really like if there is a problem, just go ahead and ask away. So log in. Can I do a record? No, of course not, because it's broken. So I need to use keyboard shortcuts. All right. Here we go. Now that we have the ability to create an account with our Axum server, it's time for us to be able to log in. Now, logging in happens when we've previously created an account. Our user comes back and wants to get a new token. Basically, they want to prove that they are who they say they are. And they're going to do this with the same username and the same password that they used before. Let's go ahead and set up exactly what I mean here. We'll use Thunder Client first. So our collections, data, let's create a new request. And this is going to be login. So I'm going to do another post for this, even though we're not really creating anything in the database. Post just sort of makes sense compared to how I see everybody else implementing login. So it should be familiar to anybody else hitting your API. We're going to go to HTTP, localhost, port 3000, and I want to go to users and login. So we're not just going straight to users, but we're just going to go to login here. For our body, we're going to send in a username. This is, what did I create last time? It was Yeah, I want to send in this exact same thing here. And this is how we prove that I am who I say I am. Obviously, we get a 404 not found because this specific route doesn't exist yet. All right, let's now go implement this. Now, I was thinking, because in create user here, we have our request user and we have our response user. And both of these are exactly the same request coming in for login that I want for, just responding out. So I'm going to go ahead and rename create user here just to users. VS Code is automatically updating mod to help us out. And in users here, we're going to keep create user, but I'm going to add in a pub async function login. And we're going to go use this in mod. So here's create user. We'll add login and we'll create a route for that. So route users login. And that's going to be a post with login. Okay, should be happy. If I now attempt to log in, we get the 200 okay. It doesn't do anything yet, but let's fix that up. So what do we need coming in? Well, we know we need this JSON of the request user. So let's add that in right away. So we have JSON request user. We know we need that extension with the database. I don't think we necessarily need anything else. What are we going to return? We're going to return a result. This doesn't automatically have everything. Okay, we're just going to have a JSON of the response user and just a status code in case something goes wrong. Okay, so logging in means going and finding the user by the username and then comparing the passwords to make sure that they exist. Normally, we'd want the usernames to be absolutely unique. Otherwise, we'd be very confused about like which user we're constantly logging in and out. That's actually one of the reasons why people like to use emails as their usernames. But most often, it's just because they want to force getting an email from the users. Okay, so we want to get our database user equals. Okay, so let's do our users find. Do I have? Oh, I don't have users in here. So let's pull in use create database users. This is going to be the entity as users. I can now use users find. Well, we're not going to be able to do find by ID because we don't know what the ID is. So we're just going to have to do a find. We do know we can do a filter. So it's going to be users, column, username is equal. Okay, we want to make sure that it's equal to the request user username. Okay. Now, I probably don't want to take ownership of this. Now, when we take a look at this, this needs to be it needs to be an owned value, or at least it needs to go into a value. I wonder if I can reference that so I don't take ownership of it. I want one thing. So we do one, we await this, we then map the error. If we get this error, we're going to return a status code of internal server error. And we can then question mark semicolon that. We have an option of a user. Okay, So if, for example, or if for some reason we can't find this user, it's probably because we don't have the username. So in that case, let's go ahead and return a 404. So if let some db user equals user. We'll do our logic here. So this is where we're going to like do the login. Else we can't find the user. So here we're going to return an error, status code not found. Okay, so that gives us the 404 error. You're upset because, well, we're not returning the same. Well, we're not returning the same general type. We have access to the DB user, so we can now create the final user, as it were. So JSON. We want a response user. Okay. Username. We want this to be the DB user dot username. That's a full strings. That's fine. The DB user dot ID and DB. Well, before we do this, do we want to just use the token that we have in the database? What if it's nothing? What if it's like the same token and it's been a while? We probably want to create a new token at login time. So every time we log in, we're basically saying, okay, wherever you logged in previously is no longer allowed. Now, in that case, this would only allow like a single session for a user to exist at the same time. And that's fine, at least in my specific use case here. If you have a use case where you need somebody to be logged in on like 4 or 5 different devices at the same time, then you need to do a little bit of extra logic to verify which. Do you need to create a new token? Do you want to use that same token? How do you know? That's going to be outside the scope for this course, but something you might want to keep in mind if you are creating your own auth system. Okay, so we want to create a new token here, which means we can't really return yet, can we? Go ahead and throw in a to-do here. We'll get back to this in a little bit. First of all, we have to create a brand new token. So that this is a new token equals completely random, of course. All to owned this. We need to take the DB user as a model and make it into a we need to make it into a active model. Okay. So let's do this is now going to be a user we're going to be updating. So I'm just going to call it user to be slightly different. Equals DB user dot into active model. We need to make this mutable. We're going to set the token as this new token here. So user dot token equals set some new token. And then we need to save this. Now, when we save, okay, so we're going to do user dot save. When we save, we're going to get that result with self and the error. Okay, so we can basically do let saved user equals. We're going to save, pass it in a reference to the database. We are going to await. We're going to map the error. So in case there is a failure here, this is our problem. So I want to return with a status code of internal server error. And we're going to question mark semicolon that. So that gives us another active model again, but now we have this as the saved user. So great. Now we can return this and we can get rid of this to do. Okay, so in this case, I don't want to get this from the DB user anymore. I want to get this from the saved user. But these are all part of active models, which means we need to unwrap it. For the token, we need to do kind of the same thing. So it's going to be saved user token unwrap, but that still gives us an option here. So let's do an unwrap a second time to get the token out of it. We know it has it because we just saved it. What are you upset about? The trait bound. So name, not satisfied. Okay, so I can't use a reference here. Now, if I take ownership of this, it's going to be a little bit, is it going to be a little bit upset? No, it's going to be fine. Okay, never mind. We're going to take ownership of username out of request user. Oh, I guess I'm not using this ever again. So that's fine. We're just going to give ownership over. Let's go ahead and go to login and see if this works now. Here we go. So we log in and we see our username, our ID, and our token, which was slightly different than this token that we got when we created our account last time. Every time that we hit send, we are technically getting a new token, even if it just happens to be the same here. We'll be changing that later when we switch to a better way to make tokens. So that's it. We have login. Our front end now can use this token to make a secure request to our back end. We haven't set that up yet, but that's coming up. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Okay. I want to bring that up here. Okay, so I had a test recording I did yesterday, and that was length like 0 seconds. I don't need you. You are, I guess like this is login or logging in. Okay, I do have one warning. Where's the warning? Unused tasks. Okay, I think I accidentally brought that in last time. Okay, so there's login. Let's go ahead and commit this. So we are logging in. Okay, logging out. Logging out in this case is going to be as simple as deleting the token from the database. Because if we don't have a token in a database, we're good to go. Like there's no way that you could be logged in. Your session is done. So I guess we'll do that next. Okay, let's plenty of time. Let's jump into it. Now that we've logged in, let's talk about logging out. Logging out in this case would be as simple as deleting the token from the database for the user that is logging in. Now, how do we know that you know what I realized? We can't do logout until we guard the route, because the logout is a guarded route. So I need to move this on keyboard. I need to move this down. Okay, so we can actually sort of create this together, can't we? Which route should I guard? We're in data. I could do it as create task. Oh, I could do it as get all tasks, like get tasks. That way we can say, okay, when you create a, ooh, no, because like I don't have any tasks, so it'd be really hard to test. Maybe we'll just start with create task. This is where we do that. This is where we do it on. We're gonna guard in here. And that means checking the headers for that. If I remember correctly, there's a header map. I think this is what we want to use. Their documentation is not helpful. But I think I can then get stuff out of it. So, for example, it'd be like headers, header map. Do tasks store the user that created them? Yes. So that's what I think why I need to do create task. And then we're gonna have to update request task. Oh, no, we don't update request task. We come in, we have to then find the user, and then new task would be user ID. Then we set it with the proper user ID, which is right now null. Extension. Okay, so header map. Then if I want to do header equals headers dot. I should do it like outside of that. This would be like token equals headers dot. Okay, so I have a get. I can get yeah, so it'd be something like x like x auth token. Something like that. We could then unwrap this, or better yet, we can do an if let. Okay, so we'll handle this properly. So let's save. Revert you. Change the plan. Okay, and I think that should be good. I'll probably just use XAuth token and just sort of mention that I'm old school. I use the X dash when you don't really need to do that anymore. That was just an old school thing that you needed to do back when that. Why not use an authorization header? Oh, we could. Let me see about Thunder Client. So if I go to create task, so they have auth here. Basic pass that in. It's not really a bearer token. So it's none of these things. So we'd have to come here and we'll use an authorization. And then, okay, we just pass in a token. So something like that. Okay, I like it. We'll do that. We use an authorization token, or sorry, an authorization header. Ooh, and if that's standard, can I use one of the standard headers? So, what was that? That was create task. I want to say let's see, authorization. Oh yeah, look at this. Axum headers authorization. Okay, so authorization header, or like token, is, now I want an extractor, right? So was it the typed header? In general, only the headers via typed header rather than removing all headers with the header map extractor. Oh yeah, I guess we're not showing everything here. But okay, so then I can do authorization. So this is what? Typed header? Authorization. The authorization header field allows the user agent to authenticate itself. Uh-oh. Okay. Would it be bearer? Like technically it's not. I mean, I guess we could do as bearer token. I guess we could do as a bearer token. So if I want, wait, how do I extract this out? So okay, that's how we can typed header user agent, for example. I want typed header content type. I want typed header authorization, but you need itself a type. What? What do you need? What do you a C credentials pub C. Is bear like a strong type? Like can I just use my own string with that, or does it have to be like an actual jot? I don't remember anymore. Oh, okay. So it's basic or bear. That's okay, that's the choice. I see. I see now. So bear like that. Okay, so then I want to take in this token. So um I can now take the token like this. That gives me the stir. Let's debug the token, and then we'll just panic. So it doesn't actually create anything in the database. Because panics are fun. Okay, so create task. We come back to here, okay, so we can go to auth, we go to bear, and we say we want something like that. Oh no, forcibly closed by peer. And there's the token, 1, 3, 7. Okay, yeah, that works pretty well. If we come back to the header, oh, it's not shown, but behind the scenes, okay. Oh, token prefix. Oh, we could totally remove that. Oh, that'd be cool too. But in this case, this is fine. This is fine. Okay, great. This is what we will do. Let's go ahead and reset you. Back to this. We will remove you. We don't need to be in there. We revert you again. Okay, I think that'll work. So then we can then use that to get the token. We request the user from the token. If the token exists in this case, it means that we are that the user's previously logged in. They clearly had a token. Uh, the entire JOTS thing we'll deal with later, with like being able to say, hey, it only lasts for this long. But that's not right now. We're with much simpler security. Okay, so guarding a route. Let's do this. And let's go. Now that we have the ability to create an account, we can log in. Before we can move on to doing something like logging out, we need to be able to guard a route. Now, guarding a route simply means receiving that token and making sure that the person that is making the request is the same person who, well, logged in or created the account or did whatever they did to get a token from us. We kind of need that in order to log out. So let's go ahead and create our guard for creating a new task. So first of all, let's take a look at what this means in Thunder Client. So I'm going to first go to login. Let's get our token here. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to create task. We're going to head over into this auth here, and I'm going to put this in the bearer token right here. Now, this is going to set the authentication, or sorry, the authorization header. So to show what it would look like, authorization, and then the value is going to be bearer space and then the token. I don't need to set that right here because Thunder Client actually does this automatically for us. As long as it's set here, this is what the token is, and this is the prefix for that token. It's going to be sent automatically for us. So if I attempt to send a new task, hey, everything is okay. It's happy. But of course, if I change the token, this is also going to yell at us. Not only that, but this new do another cool thing. If we get all tasks, we don't actually know anything about this. This is just do another cool thing that's just been created right now. Let's see about doing some authentication for us. So we know it's coming in under the headers for authorization. Let's head into create task. And here we need to take in the headers. So this is going to be the authorization is going to be a typed header with authorization. And then authorization has two different types. It could be sort of like a simple or plain basic authorization or bearer. We want to use bearer. Okay. Now, given that, I want to get the actual token out. So that token equals authorization dot token. And that gives us a stir. So I now have a stir of the token. If I want to just debug this out, I'd be able to actually see it. So given this token, before we do anything like actually create something in the database, we need to go get the user with this token. If we can't find it, clearly that user is not allowed because they've logged out or the token expired if we had some system like that. Let's go ahead and let's go find it. So we're going to use let user equals, okay, so we need to grab the users. So we have, we don't have the user right now. Let's create database users. We want the entity as users. Okay, so this is going to be users. We can't do find by ID because we don't know that, so we're just going to do find. We're going to filter, though, on users. So import database users. I want the column token. Want to be, make sure it's equal to, this is going to be a sum because it could be empty. And we want this to be the token. Okay, we want to find just one of these things. So we want database. In there, we want to await. We want to map the error. If there is an error at this point, it is definitely something that's just gone wrong on our side. So we're going to return a status code. Well, we now need to return a let's return a status code. In fact, we should return a result with nothing or a status code in case things go wrong. So status code, internal server error, and question mark and semicolon that. All right, well, you're just a little bit unhappy. So if we get all the way to the bottom here, we don't need this debug anymore. We know that we've successfully saved this. This just becomes okay. That's happy. We now have an option model, so it's possible that we didn't find the user. So let's do an let user equals if let some user equals, and we'll just continue this on here. If we find it, I'm going to return this user out so we can just stay at this level. If we don't find it, we're going to return an return early an error with status code not found because we couldn't find the user. Or we could return a 400 error, sort of like some user problem. Maybe that would be a little bit better. Let's see, bad request. They should have given us something more. So I'm calling that. Okay, so now we have a user as the model. We know that the token matched, so at this point we're good. We consider them logged in. Okay, so we can now use this user to set the ID in here. So user ID is now going to be a set for user.id. This needs to be an option. So this is a sum user ID. Okay, excellent. We probably also want to, in the response task, we want to, well, actually, we're not sending anything back here. So this is actually going to be exactly the same. I'm going to underscore use so you don't warn us too much. Creating a task should be fine. Let's go and run this again. If we get a 200 okay, this should have worked for that. Now, if I go back to our authentication and we just add some more information here, we get a 400 bad request. So now, is that actually correct? 400 bad request? I don't actually think it's exactly right. There are codes for if you're not authenticated. Let's go ahead and use one of those. So instead of bad request, let's go find it. I think there's a not authenticated. So not authoritative information. I want a 401 essentially. Not acceptable, not found, not modified. I don't think it's that one. Authentication, authorized. I don't know which one this is going to be. Status code. Can we go take a look at which one this is? So I want a 401. 401 is unauthorized. Okay, that's what I want. So unauthorized. So if we come back to create task, now we're getting a 401. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're going to use user. Everything is good here. Now, to verify that the user ID got added in, I want to update. Let's go back to our Thunder client. I want to update our get all tasks so we can see the user ID inside of here. So let's go to get all tasks. We have where's our response? Okay, our response task. I want to update you with the user ID, which is going to be an option with an I32. That's going to make everything upset here. So you don't have one. Now get one task. We're not doing that one yet. So user ID. Now I do have the model. So we have task.user ID, which is an option with an I32. So that's fine to use that there. And we have user ID is a DB task dot user ID. Okay, that should be happy there. No more errors. Let's get all tasks. User ID too. So we can actually see that our new user that created this do another cool thing, which is different than this other do another cool thing, is now associated with this task. We have the first user's task in our database. And so that's how we guard a route. Let's go and just look at this really quickly again. At the beginning of the route, we're guarding it by saying, hey, if we don't have the token and we can't find our user with the token, then we need to return early and then just tell you, hey, you can't do that. So anytime we have after this, we just assume, okay, you're clearly good. We have a user object from the database. We know that you're logged in and you're allowed to do this. So that's what I mean by a guard class. It's guarding the rest of the route here. And now we can use this next time in logging out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Actually, as soon as I said that, I'm like, I'm not going to use this next time in log out. We're gonna do something slightly different. Or maybe I am gonna do that. Well, anyways, let's rename you to guarding a route. I guess it makes sense. We can do this again with logout because there is going to be that little bit of information about logout that's helpful. Okay, so no warnings. We have a guard route. Okay. I guess bear was originally created for OAuth, but it seems to be more widely used. Yeah, that is true. I do see authorization used everywhere, and I see bearer used everywhere, even when it's not a bearer token. I also see bearer not used when it is a bearer token, which is also fun. That's cool. Okay, so logout, we're gonna do the exact same thing. Yes, I'm gonna use jots later. So we're gonna be able to just throw in a jot into that token area, and it's gonna be a bearer token for the jot. So everything will be fine in the future. So we're sort of like moving towards a simplified replacement. Okay, logout. I think maybe we should do logout next. We're going to repeat exactly the same, so it will show that we're doing exactly the same thing, which will then lean into like, well, now that we're doing it twice and we clearly are going to do this as a pattern, putting that exact same guard everywhere, let's move that to middleware, coming next. which will be nice. Okay, so log out. Log out, we can do that in users here. And that's just going to be simply deleting the token. Okay. Oh, and I need to update you. So this is guarding a route. When I update that, we can also update like our get all to like, well, I mean, really depends because like the use case, I could see somebody creating like a to-do app where everybody can see every item, but you can only like update the ones you care about. But I'll probably update I'll probably run through after you use middleware to update like the get all to then get just the one, just like our own the task that we created ourselves. Now that we have those, but okay, log out. That's coming up. We have time. I can do this. All right, let's new recording. Now that we know how to guard a route, let's go and implement the logout so we can at least have our users be able to say, I'm done. I don't want to do with this anymore. And if anybody attempts to do something, just return a 401 error, not authorized or unauthorized. And then they have to log back in again. So we're going to do this back into users. I'm going to create a brand new route for this. It's going to be a pub function, pub async function, log out. And I'm going to go ahead and go back into mod and bring this in. So here's our users. I want log out and route / users log out. I want this to be a post, and we're going to put log out here. Okay, what do we need for this? Well, we need that token coming in. So we know we're going to have the authorization token. Authorization. That's going to be the typed header. Authorization bearer. We need the database. So we need the extension with the database. Is there anything else that we need? I don't necessarily think so because we're not really taking anything in besides this authorization here. Okay, so we're going to return a result. I don't need to return anything if we're successful, and if we do not succeed, if something goes wrong, we're going to return a status code. Okay, what are we going to do here? Well, let's first start with the to-do so it doesn't yell at us too much. Cannot find bearer in a scope. Let's pull you in. So import bearer. Okay, everything's happy here. So how we're going to handle logout. We need to find the user from the database, convert it into a active user or active model, and then delete the token and resave that. So first off, we guard the entire route. So let user equals, we know that this is going to be an if let sum, so I'm just going to write that out right away. So if let sum user equals, we're going to use users. We want to find, we're going to filter users column. We want this by the token. Token to be equal to, well, we need the actual token here. So let token equals authorization. Let's get the token. Oh, this needs to be a sum. Okay, we do that. Then we want to get one of it. Oh, we need to pass in the database. We then need to await. We're going to map the error. And we're going to return a status code of internal server error. Okay. Okay, so at this point, we have the user, so I just want to return that out. Otherwise, we didn't find the user, so we're going to return an error with a status code of unauthorized. Okay, we have our user. It's just a model. Well, okay, so if we get the user, and the next thing we need to do is we need to remove the token from it. So I'm going to actually do an into active model here. So now we have an active model as our user. We can set you as mutable. And we want to now delete or set the token to be null. So we're going to use user.token is equal to, well, how do we set this as to be null? Because can I just set this to be null? Because I don't think I can set this to be set null. And there we can set this to be like maybe a none. I don't know. Like we have to do set. Set. Because if I do a none, well, I guess like this should handle it, right? So we want this to be set to be a none because it was going to be an option for this one anyways. Okay, so there we go. We're happy. We are going to save this next. So user.save, pass it a reference to the database. We want to await. Can map the error. Again, if this fails, it's our fault. So we want to have this be a status code of internal server error. And we can question mark that. And if we get all the way to the bottom, instead of to do, we're going to return an OK. Okay. So we should be able to log out now. Let's go and double check this. So in Thunder Client, we had that create task. I still have the bear. Oh, the bear token. I added some in here, didn't I? I think that was it, right? So one more. There it goes. Okay, so this works. Now, if I take you, let's create a brand new route in here. So new request. This is going to be log out. We want to post to HTTP localhost port 3000. Users log out. For the auth, we want a bearer. Throw in our token. We hit send. Okay, we get a 200 okay. If we go back to create task and I try to create this again, we get a 401 unauthorized because that token's been removed from the user's the user's row in the database, which means they're no longer authorized, which means we have to log in again and get a brand new token in order for this to work. So that's showing logout. We are now successfully able to log out from our app and require our user to log in once again. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and see you next video. Bye. All right. Log out. Logging out. Flint Rusty, hello. I don't get tired of coding every day, so I don't code every day. I don't know if you've noticed, but I stopped doing streamings on the weekends to make sure I'm not burning out too much. And then the other thing is, I sort of see it as working out. So if you go into the gym and you work out on just the same set of muscles, the same machines every single day, you're going to injure yourself because you're just like working on, well, one part of your body over and over and over again. I see it kind of the same thing with programming. So if I were to be doing all of these like courses and lessons on exactly the same type of coding that I was doing at my day job, I would burn out. This would not be fun. I just couldn't handle it. So in that case, it would be like using JavaScript and Node.js and creating Lambda functions and doing all that stuff. So instead, I'm doing Rust. And even if I'm doing web dev stuff, I'm creating courses in Rust, which is I don't create courses during my day job, so it's actually quite different here. And also, I'm very passionate about teaching side, so really like that's the thing that keeps me like really wanting to do this and really like interested in it and helps prevent burnout. So your mileage may vary. You have to find something that you're really into, but then not do it too much. So don't do it for your day job and do it for personal fun time. So I think that's yeah, I think that's my answer. Does that help you, Flint? Okay. In the meantime, no warnings, so that's good. We have logouts. So we are logging out. Excellent. And 8:15, so perfectly on time. My alarm is going off. So what's coming up? So I I have a so Thursday is a holiday in the United States. It is Thanksgiving, which means that a lot of us are not working, me included. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to do a long stream. I don't have like any family or friends coming over because I live in a different state than my parents do. And I'm doing a sort of like a friendsgiving type thing on a different day. So I think I'm gonna do a stream at the normal time. Uh, but it's not gonna be a long because we're gonna prepare for the day and do that kind of stuff. And so I should be streaming back on Thursday again, and then Friday morning as well too. But at 8 a.m. Friday, potentially somebody's going to come in and take a look at our furnace for our annual inspection. So I may have to end early on Friday as well. So I think that's going to be the rest of the week. So no stream tomorrow. I'm going to go into my work and make sure everything is good. Say hi to everybody before the early long weekend. So with that, I don't really have anything else. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. Have a great day tomorrow too, and I will see you. I will see you on what is it? Thursday. Thank you, Eritas, for hanging out today. And there it is. There's the ending screen. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Have a good one. And if you celebrate Thanksgiving, what? No, wait. I'll see you then. I'll be able to say hi to them. All right. Well, have a good one. Bye.